All right, everybody, welcome back. Brian Reese here, the VA Claims Insider. Welcome back to VA Claims Insider Mastery. As you can see, I turned on the video down here. I just wanted you guys to be able to see me. I know you haven't really seen me yet other than my picture. So how's it going? I hope you guys are doing good. This is absolutely, I think, probably the most crucial topic here. And I get this question a lot. Veterans will ask me, hey, Brian, how do I write my personal statement? Okay, remember we talked about the VA form 21-4138, the statement in support of a claim. Okay, so those are your personal statements. And then we talked about buddy letters as well. So a buddy letter is anything from a competent individual, any statement of fact from a competent individual 18 years of age or older. And it's simply somebody who can offer what's called lay evidence, which means after the fact evidence in your VA claim. And normally what we like to have is have them be a firsthand witness, meaning they were either there during the incident, whatever it was, a car accident, combat-related action, or perhaps they're your spouse, someone who knows you very well. It could be your son or daughter, as long as they're 18 years of age or older. It could be a coworker. It could be a boss, somebody who's observed you and your behaviors in your environment. But it's somebody who can shed some light on what's really going on with you, whether it was an incident that occurred and or your symptoms today. Remember, we've talked a lot about severity of symptoms in your VA disability claim and the importance of that in determining your rating. Okay, so in this section, though, we're talking about how do you actually write these things? What are the guts, the content? And so I'm going to use real examples. Okay, I'm going to use mine as real examples. I'm going to use post-traumatic stress disorder, and I'm going to walk you through all of those documents that I've personally used to get a 70% rating for combat-related post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay. So here are the crucial documents. The VA Form 21-4138, the statement in support of a claim. And you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to reiterate it because it's that important. Okay, you need a statement in support of a claim for every disability you're claiming. Okay, if you have 33 disabilities that you're filing for inside of eBenefits, you need to have 33 separate statements in support of a claim. Okay, I'm going to show you how those are written and outlined. I also talked about this in Module 1 about the strategy. And then on Bullet 2 here, the buddy letters on the VA Form 21-4138, if lay evidence is necessary. Okay, again, lay evidence is just after the fact evidence, or somebody who is a firsthand witness and is going to list statements of fact about you or about the incident. And then in that third bullet, sworn declarations if previously denied service connection. Okay, I've got templates in this course. Look down in the bottom here of the video, and there's some links there so you can open up these exact documents that I'm talking about today, and you can copy them. Okay, tailor them as necessary for your individual case, but copy them and pay very close attention to the keywords. Now, a sworn declaration is different than a statement in support of a claim. And what's different about it is that you're swearing under penalty of perjury. Okay, penalty of perjury is a legal term that has a lot of teeth. Okay, so basically what you're saying is, I can validate with 100% certainty because I was there, either as the witness, right, as a buddy. I witnessed this event occur for a veteran, for you, right? Veteran Smith, Veteran Reese, whatever. And I'm declaring under penalty of perjury, meaning you can send me to jail if what that individual states is not true. Okay, so it just adds some teeth to it, where a VA examiner or rater is going to read a sworn declaration and see that you've sworn under penalty of perjury that the information is true. So it's got a little bit more teeth to it than just the statement in support of a claim, which is you're certifying to the best of your knowledge and belief. Okay, that's a very different kind of a statement than swearing under penalty of perjury. Now, you don't need a sworn declaration unless you've previously been denied service connection. Okay, so if let's say you're trying to open up a claim, you're reopening your sleep apnea claim, which was previously denied. Okay, get a sworn declaration and add that legalese teeth into your statement from a spouse who can validate your symptoms. They can talk about your snoring, your breathing, your sleepiness. Hey, I've known my husband since before he was active duty. He did not have sleep apnea then. I witnessed it occur and get worse over time as he was exposed to burn pits. Perhaps he deployed 4 or 5 times, whatever the situation. Okay. So again, you only need a sworn declaration if you were previously denied service connection. Otherwise, if you're simply adding statements of fact, use the VA Form 21-4138, the statement in support of a claim. Now, you might hear in lots of different circles, the VA doesn't prefer that form anymore, or they want you to use something else. Don't worry about that. Okay, you can ignore that. It doesn't matter. Use the form. That's what it's there for. The representatives are used to seeing it. What matters is the content. Okay, so I'm going to bring some of this stuff up on the screen so that you can actually see it. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of this. And remember, we're going to talk about post-traumatic stress disorder. So the first thing I'm going to pull up is my actual personal statement. Okay, this is it. This is the statement in support of a claim that I used to substantiate service connection and my incidents for post-traumatic stress disorder. So you can see here that the first thing I talk about is I'm characterizing the nature of the disability. All right, I list right here post-traumatic stress disorder caused by my deployment to Afghanistan from May 2011 to December 2011. Now, I'm not going to read everything, but you can see the format here. I list here, I deployed to Afghanistan in May 2011 and immediately began having insomnia, anxiety, and panic attacks following rocket and mortar attacks by insurgents. Checked into mental health and was treated for anxiety and combat stress. This all happened deployed, okay? Then I list how many times we were attacked, one specific incident, talk about how I've not been the same person, and then I list the symptoms of things going on, okay? I now have hypersensitivity to loud noises, anxiety, suicidality and thoughts, constant panic attacks, sweating, heart pounding, ringing in my ears, tingling in my arms, mouth, lips, dry mouth, insomnia, impairment of my short-term and long-term memory, increased anger, severe paranoia, and delusional thoughts. Okay, these symptoms affect me constantly, and I have no control over them. I've started therapy. Was formally diagnosed with PTSD caused by my deployment. Page 2 of this statement lists all the attacks and incidents as documented by my daily deployment journal. So I kept a journal while I was over there. Now, you may not have done all this stuff. Okay, that's fine. But you have to list something about your incident. So if your PTSD was caused by a motor vehicle accident, you've got to talk about what happened and how it's affected you. If your PTSD is due to MST, military sexual assault or trauma, harassment, you've got to talk about that. What happened, the harassment incident, how it's affected you over time. But one of the most important things here is to be listing your symptoms. Now, I don't know if you realize this or not, but many of these symptoms are right from the 70% rating in the ECFR, Title 38, Part 4, Schedule for Rating Disabilities. Remember we went over that in Part 1, in Module 1, the strategy? If you go look at that, the guiding document in law for all disabilities, you need to look at what are the keywords and symptomatology associated with the rating you think you should have, okay? And once you have that, put those keywords in your statement, okay? So I make a statement here about total occupational and social impairment. I talk about a divorce that I went through. I talk about potential custody issues, my inability to have sexual intercourse. So I talk about ED. Talk about issues I've had at work. So again, very severe. But look how this is wet signed by me. I list the date, my home address. And then in page 2, I list all these incidents. Okay, now you don't have to do this unless you have specific incident reports and things that you remember, okay? But if you have incidents, for example, you were involved in a motor vehicle accident in the state of Texas in June of 2010. Perhaps there's a news article. Maybe the newspaper wrote about it. If you can go find that news article, get it, download it, and upload that as supporting documentation, as evidence in support of your claim. Okay, so again, I want to go back through this statement in support of a claim for PTSD that I wrote. Again, I'm characterizing part one. I'm characterizing the disability and how it was service connected. Part two, I'm listing the incidents and I'm listing my current symptoms, when it happened. I list a little bit about what happened before and what happened after. I talk about my severity of symptoms, so how it's affected my life, divorce, I've had trouble at work, I'm having issues, I don't have a lot of friends, panic, anxiety, etc. Right? And then there's a certification that everything on this form is true and accurate to the best of my knowledge and belief. Okay? So that's the general format for how you write a statement. And this is a real statement, by the way. This is the one I actually used that got me 70%. Okay, so again, we're on the same lines of PTSD. I'm going to move over to a different document. And if you haven't seen this before, I need you to get familiar with this. So for PTSD specifically, this is the only VA form that is different or specialized for a particular disability. Okay, and that is this form. Okay, it is the VBA, the VA form 21-0781. Okay, you can Google that right now, or just click below here. You'll see a link to download this statement. But you'll see it's called a statement in support of a claim for service connection for post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And it tells you the exact instructions here, gang. List the stressful incident or incidents that occurred in service. Remember, why are we talking about statement in support of a claim for service connection? It has to be, remember, your PTSD has to be caused or made worse by your active duty military service in order to be eligible for compensation under the law. For each incident, provide a description of what happened, the date, the geographic location, your unit, full names if you have those. Please provide dates within at least a 60-day range, okay? Be as detailed as possible. So you can see, and by the way, I actually use this exact document as well. Now, there's two ways to complete this form. On eBenefits, if you file a claim for PTSD, you can complete this exact form online. There's little blocks that you can enter information in, and that's the same as if you do this separately. Okay, it's up to you if you want to do this as a separate document, as a PDF, type everything in, print, sign it, and upload it to eBenefits. You can also just complete it online inside of eBenefits. Okay, but you'll see I list the date. Now, I've had some veterans come to me and say, Brian, I don't remember the exact date. List an approximate. Okay, list an approximate. If you were in Vietnam from 1970 to 1971 and you don't remember the specific date, just be as close as you can, okay? List the location. This happened to be in Canada or Afghanistan. List the dates you were there, what unit you were assigned to. And you'll see I wrote in here, this is a template, be as clear and descriptive as you can in this section, okay? For example, our convoy was under enemy attack from all sides, and an RPG exploded roughly 20 yards from my position. The blast force knocked me from a kneeling position to the ground. My medical staff rushed in and helped move me to a safer location. Luckily, I only suffered a severe concussion during the attack. I list a medal here, the DMSM with Valor. Wounded in battle, I had a severe concussion as a result of this incident. Okay, but again, if you know of folks, maybe you were the leader, you were the combat team leader, or the senior enlisted, or whoever, just a member of the team. If there were, unfortunately, if there were folks who were KIA'd, service members were killed or injured, be as descriptive as you can here. Now, a note, if you don't know or none of this happened, don't put it in here. You don't have to have these incidents in order to get service connection granted for PTSD. Remember, PTSD does not have to be directly related to combat. It can be because of stress, pressures, sexual harassment, sexual assault, an accident that occurred, okay? Lots of things can trigger post-traumatic stress disorder. And for a VA disability claim, it doesn't just have to be combat, okay? If there were other incidents you remember, stressful incident 2, please enter that. Again, you're going to want to print this out, sign it, and put your name and information here, okay? So that's the statement in support of a claim for service connection for post-traumatic stress disorder. You must do this. You must do this form if you're filing a claim for PTSD for the first time. If you're simply filing for an increase, so say you're already rated 10% for PTSD and you think you should be 50%, so you go into e-benefits and you put increase, which means you're filing for an increase for PTSD. You don't need to do this again, okay, because you're already service connected for PTSD. However, you do need to write a statement in support of a claim, all right? And you may want to obtain a buddy statement as well. Okay, so we did the statement in support of a claim for PTSD. We did the statement in support of a claim for service connection for PTSD. And now I'm going to show you an actual buddy letter example of PTSD. Again, this is written on the same form. So you can follow this exact outline if you want. My name is, so the name of the person should list their name. My name is John Smith, and I'm a whatever. List who they are. Writing the statement on behalf of you as the veteran. Talk about how they know you. I've known you since XYZ. Perhaps we worked together. We worked together for almost 2 years. My desk was directly next to his, and we interacted nearly every day. And then you see that it goes into what the person witnessed. I witnessed him get into verbal altercations, issues. He was written up for angry outbursts. He has struggled with depression, anxiety. Sorry about that. Sometimes these forms go black. He struggled with depression, anxiety, and panic. He has told me about nightmares, insomnia, hallucinations. He's taken increased sick leave. He was too depressed to come to work. I would check in with him via text. She talks about the divorce. And again, then they're signing and certifying that the statements are true to the best of the knowledge and belief of the buddy, okay, the person who is a direct witness. So again, the general format of these for a buddy statement is the person lists their name, who they are, what they do. They talk about how they know you, okay? They talk about what they saw and witnessed over the course of whatever, if it's a spouse, a supervisor, a coworker. And then, again, they're certifying. So how they know you, what they've seen, the disability they witnessed, and how it's affecting your life, okay, based on what they know. I can tell you that the VA raters and the examiners, they take these statements very seriously. They really do. They're crucial. They're important, and it adds, part of the reason it's so important is it's almost like in a legal case, you've got firsthand witness testimony, okay? That's very important for a rater, somebody who doesn't know you, who can read a statement that makes them feel something to sympathize with your incident. And remember, I've talked a lot about severity of symptoms. How severe are your symptoms for PTSD, for sleep apnea, for back problems, for neck problems, whatever, okay? All right, now I'm going to open up the sworn declaration form. And again, all of this stuff is inside the course. So don't panic if I'm moving along at a pretty good pace here. Now remember, the difference between the sworn declaration and the statement in support of a claim are the teeth in the certification statement. The sworn declaration, I recommend, only be used if you've been previously denied service connection. And the reason is I think it's a little bit over the top. It's a little bit in your face. So if the only real reason to use it is if you've already been denied, okay? Now the sworn declaration and even the statements in support of a claim fall in what's considered lay evidence from a legal perspective. And it's evidence, lay evidence is evidence provided by someone who is not considered an expert in the matter at hand. Specifically, it's evidence that does not require or is not supposed to be presented by someone with specialized education, training, or experience, but someone who has specific knowledge of the facts or circumstances and that was observed and described by the lay person, the witness, the firsthand witness. Okay. Now, there's some instructions here. I'm not going to read them all because you can just click below and get this template. You'll see it in there. It says sworn declaration template. You can click it. You'll download this Word document so you can tailor it for your own use. But remember, the biggest difference is what I've talked about. Please be aware that by signing this form, a witness is saying they have personal, firsthand knowledge, meaning they saw it with their own eyes, or know from their own observations, knowledge, or facts listed here in the declaration. If it's untrue, they're stating under penalty of perjury. Okay, in legalese, perjury is the intentional misstatement of a material fact, which is a crime under federal law. Okay, I'm not saying anyone or a buddy is going to lie. I'm just stating you should make them aware of if you're asking somebody, a buddy or a witness or a spouse or coworker, to sign a sworn declaration, make sure that they know what they're swearing to, and make sure they dang near it's true and correct. Okay. So again, it's very similar to the format of the statement in support of a claim. So here's the general declaration. This is the sworn declaration of whoever, John Smith. My name is blah, I am more than a blah, and then they're going to you start to insert the material facts. Now, what I recommend is you pre-write this, okay? Don't just send this blank form to a buddy or a supervisor and expect that they're going to document everything in the way that you think it should be documented. I think you, as the veteran who knows your case better than anybody, should pre-write the facts, okay? I've witnessed veteran blah. I was there with him during this incident. I saw it. I work with him and I see how much this has affected him over time. He takes sick leave. He's depressed. He has no friends. Okay, whatever the circumstances are. Okay, and then this document needs to be wet signed, sent back to you, and you upload it into eBenefits as a part of your claim. Again, a sworn declaration substitutes as lay evidence, and it's proven in the courts, all right? In the Board of Veterans' Appeals, the BVA, has substantiated that a sworn declaration and even a statement in support of a claim is considered lay evidence as long as it's from a competent person, meaning it can help overturn a previous denial of service connection. It can shed light on symptoms. So if you were rated at 10% for PTSD and you should be 50%, and you file the appropriate documentation, a statement in support of a claim, a buddy letter, whatever, that information alone can constitute enough evidence to allow the increase or overturn the denial of service connection. Okay? All right. So what did we talk about? I want to go back to our main presentation here. What did we talk about? We talked about the crucial documents, the VA Form 21-4138. And again, you're going to write a statement in support of a claim for every disability you're claiming. It's a lot of work, I know, but I highly recommend that you do it. We talked about buddy letters, which is just a statement of fact from a competent person. Buddy letters can be on the VA Form 21-4138 if the lay evidence is necessary. Remember, we talked about that term quite a bit. And then the sworn declaration, we went through that if previously denied service connection. The other thing we covered, and I threw this in here because we talked specifically about post-traumatic stress disorder, was the statement in support of a claim for service connection for post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay? All right, I know I've thrown a lot at you. We've covered a lot of information. I hope you found this useful. Again, we are in Module 2, which is all about the tactics. How do you actually write this stuff, get it done with real examples, real templates, so that you're not spinning your wheels wondering if you're doing it right. Okay, if you follow what I'm telling you, you're doing it right. Okay. All right, gang. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can see now that I'm actually a real person, so I'm not going to do the video clip for every lesson, but I wanted to do it for this one because this was a real personal lesson with real personal things for me that I wanted you to see, okay? And again, as always, thanks for your service. God bless you and your family. I really, really do appreciate everything you've done for our country, and I'll see you inside the next lesson. All right? We'll talk to you guys real soon.